Die wenner van die 2022 Melkprodusente-organisasie Nedbank Rentmeesterskaptoekenning is verlede week tydens 'n galadinee by Casa Toscana Lodge in Pretoria aangekondig. Plaas TV het ook die geleentheid bygewoon. Bly ingeskakel vir 'n insetsel hieroor. Ons skakel wel nou eers oor na Lise toe vir die jongste landbounuus.
Communique exists to serve feed and food producers.
In today's news, the AgBiz IDC Agribusiness Confidence Index fell by 4 points in the fourth quarter of this year to 49. This follows an optimistic trend for the past 3 years. This is the first reading below the neutral 50-point mark since the second quarter of 2020. This drop implies that agribusinesses are slightly downbeat about business conditions in South Africa. This is mainly due to persistent episodes of load shedding, high input costs, increased protection in some export markets, animal disease outbreaks, and rising interest rates. Onderstepoort Biological Products recently gave an update on the availability of animal vaccines following continuous shortages of critical vaccines. The African horse sickness vaccine is already undergoing standard quality control testing and will be available within the next 2 weeks. The blue tongue vaccine will also be available before 20 December. The lumpy skin disease vaccine as well as the Rift Valley fever vaccine are currently in stock. African redwater, Asian redwater, tick-borne gall sickness and heartwater vaccines also became available at the end of last week. South African farmers are expected to harvest 5.7% less maize in the 2021-2022 season compared to the previous season. This is according to the Crop Estimates Committee's most recent report. The final summer crop forecast estimates the 2022 harvest at 15.387 million tonnes, down from the 16.315 million tonnes harvested last season. The harvest is expected to consist of 7.790 million tonnes of white maize and 7.597 million tonnes of yellow maize. That's today's news, but stay with us.
Communique exists to serve feed and food producers.
It's my privilege to speak to the 2022 Nedbank MPO Stewardship winner, and his name is Dan Biggs, all the way from the Eastern Cape. Dean, welcome and congratulations.
No, thank you very much. I appreciate all the...
If we look at the word stewardship, what does that mean to you?
Stewardship for me, the biggest thing is, or in our family, the whole way we've been moving with stewardship is to leave ground or leave an area that one has used in agriculture in a better condition than what we got it. The way that we've used with the stewardship and sustainability in our farm, my dad has started with stewardship or sustainable farming from when we got to the farm. So he's brought it up to a level that I've just been able to take it on further and just benefit from the inputs he's done, and with new technology that we've got with trace and save from woodlands and stuff, and how to improve our carbons, how to improve our soil quality and fertility in the soil. I've just been able to capitalize on what my dad's give passed on to me. Yeah.
Then you're still very young, 28 years, and you're the 5th generation on the farm.
Yeah, so what comes from my grandfather was also in farming and moved to dairy farming and stuff, and from there my dad started dairy farming with his brothers, and then they went into each one's direction, and we moved to the Tsitsikamma where we are now. And since then, we've just, our whole goal was to build on what we have and become a better steward of the ground and become a more sustainable farm.
So what do you farm? What do you milk?
So we milk 1,300 crossbred dairy cows. We're on a total dryland system. We're one of the only non-irrigation farms in Tsitsikamma. And yeah, we are a seasonal herd that calving before the rain. Our rain comes in winter, so we calve before the winter to have as much grass intake, and that's how we have become more sustainable and more profitable with the whole thing.
Well, you had 4 judges on the farm. Did you learn anything from them?
No, definitely learned a lot from them at the different angles and what they and speaking about what they've learned in there. And I'm someone that I love listening to people and hearing their how they achieve something and how that. So it was really a very interesting and informative day, changing knowledge and hearing from each other's information, how one can build on where we are now.
Although you received the award, I suppose you've got a whole team.
Yeah, no, we definitely got a whole team, and I can't exclude my dad them from it, and he's given me the opportunity to wherever, and then our staff on the farm, just from we had to put in systems and make ways easier to become more sustainable, and without the staff that we've had, it's just made it much easier, and just been a much easier way of moving forward by staff being able to work with you, and I really appreciate their side of the business also.
Well, congratulations.
No, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
There you have it. It's the 2022 Nedbank MPO Stewardship Winner of the Year. Dis 'n kompetisie, so daar's beoordelaars en die vraag is waarna het hulle gekyk? Fanie, jy was een van die beoordelaars, maar wie was saam met jou?
Ja, dankie. Dit was Jompie Burger, professor Heinz Meisner en Sue Viljoen van WWF en ekself.
Waarna het julle gekyk?
Weet jy, van die belangrikste goed wat nou gekyk word is natuurlik volhoubaarheid en hoe die boere die grond bewaar vir hulle toekoms, en natuurlik het ons in verskeie gevalle gesien hoe van die boere ook hulle grond opgebou het oor die jare, en waar grond se kwaliteit en se gehalte nie goed was nie, die metodes wat hulle gebruik het. Van Sue Viljoen se kant af het sy natuurlik baie gekyk na die soos wat hulle in Engels verwys na die water stewardship, en spesifiek die opgaardamme, veral rondom die melkstalle. Jy weet, daar's maar altyd afvalwater, en hoe dit bestuur word, wat daarmee gedoen word. Op die ou ende het ons gesien, baie van die boere het herwinningsmetodes, hoe hulle hierdie water weer kan aanwend binne in besproeiingsstelsels, en om op so 'n manier ook seker te maak dat daar nie enige skade ook van daai kant af na die natuur toe gaan nie. Van my eie kant af het ek gekyk meer na die finansiële aspek van die saak, die volhoubaarheid, opvolgbeplanning, natuurlik hoe dit waar die boere betrokke is by in hulle gemeenskap, by ander diensorganisasies soos hulle boereverenigings en so aan, en dan ook verder hoe is hulle betrokke by naburige skole, jy weet, in terme van om blootstelling te gee vir kinders wat natuurlik in skoolverband groepe hulle plase besoek, en jy weet veral ook hoe hulle gemeenskappe ondersteun en ja, ek dink dis min of meer dit gewees.
Is nou iets van die wenner wat jou opgeval het? Kan jy onthou?
Ja, iets wat regtig besonder is daar, wat uitgestaan het van die ander, is dat dit 'n droëland plaas is. Hy het 'n baie klein stukkie besproeiing wat eintlik maar net uit sy opvangswater uit die melkstal uitkom en wat hy maar gereeld rondskuif, maar dit is eintlik klein en om dit moet eintlik weggelaat word. Dit is maar eintlik net 'n bestuursmetode wat hy het. Maar definitief die insluiting van die hoeveelheid lucerne in hulle plaas, dink ek het 'n ongelooflike verskil in hulle boerdery gemaak. En toe ons daar was dit opmerklik droog geweest en nie teenstaande dit nie, was daar redelik baie kos. En dit sê net vir jou die manier hoe hulle grond opgebou het oor tyd, het definitief 'n verskil gemaak om die beperkte hoeveelheid water wat daar was, beskikbaar te kan gehad het om daai lucerne te kon groei. En dit is natuurlik nie net lucerne nie, hulle gebruik maar mengsels, maar dis grootendeels lucerne. Maar dis 'n nuwe tendens wat ons veral in die Tsitsikamma area sien en in ander dele van die land al hoe meer en meer, is die meer en meer insluiting van spesifiek lucerne in die weidings. En natuurlik, Dien is 'n jong man. Ons kan verwag, jy weet, in so gevalle het dit van sy pa af oorgevat, maar ek kan vir jou eerlikwaar en duidelik sê dat jy weet hy werklik eienaarskap gevat van daai besigheid. Hy weet presies wat daar aangaan en hy's passievol vir dit en hy maak 'n sukses daarvan en sy span werkers is 100% agter hom en hulle ondersteun hom geweldig in dit.
This competition is possible because of Nedbank, and joining me now is John Hudson. John, Nedbank, we know you as a bank that cares for the environment and obviously cares for farmers, but where's the link with Nedbank and the stewardship program of the MPO?
Yeah, thank you. I think what is important is that the agricultural sector is vitally important to the country. So not only from a food security point of view, but certainly from the GDP, employment, etc. So I think that's a starting point. But what we do realize is that farmers need to be more sustainable going forward. And I think if we don't tackle climate change head on, we are setting ourselves up for some tremendous problems, really. So this award and our participation in it stems from sustainability. I think stewardship is really important on farms, best practices, etc. But sustainability in its wider context is important to Nedbank. And in fact, our purpose is actually underpinned by sustainability. And so if you take that into how we deal with our clients, sustainability is really top. It's right at the top. And we expect our farmers now to take on climate smart farming practices. And I think that's really important. And therefore, our involvement with this MPO Dairy Stewardship Awards is exactly that. It's to promote sustainability.
Now, our farmers face many risks. So where do you assist them in that?
Well, I think as a bank, we do look at risk. Business risk is really what we look at, and we try and unpack that with our farmers. And climate risk is really at the top. If you look at risk and climate risk, and therefore business risk, it makes sense for farmers to tackle it. Going forward, really focusing on business risk and climate risk is hugely important. And I think we have a responsibility as a bank to assist our clients to transition to a more sustainable business. And therefore building climate resilience for farmers is critically important. I suppose then if you look at it in that sense, our Nedbank can do quite a bit through our CSI funding, but that's limited. We spend approximately 130 million on CSI funding from the foundation, and that's spread across health, education, the green economy, etc. But if you really want to drive change, you need to do it through your lending. And Nedbank, we lend our clients in the region of 180 billion. And so if you want to drive positive change, I think lending has a big role to play. And therefore, the products and solutions that we put in place with our clients or for our clients is to help them, on that journey.
John, in your presentation tonight, you did talk about your involvement with the WWF and the fact that farmers are really becoming more aware of the value of the WWF.
Yeah, certainly. I've been working with the WWF for about 10 years now. Nedbank has had a long-standing partnership probably over, 30 years. But more recently, the last 8 to 10 years, they have partnered with us. And the importance of that was to really share information. They have access to information not only in South Africa, but on an international scale. And if we can bring that information and make it applicable in a South African context, then that's really powerful. And I must give credit to the WWF. I think they're working on the ground and working with farmers is really top notch. What they have done is that I think they've gained the trust of farmers, and that took a bit of time. I think initially farmers might have been skeptical of the WWF, but in more recent times they're seeing them as a partner because, quite honestly, farmers are custodians of the land. We need them to take care of the land, and therefore you want the influence and the impact of the WWF to play out in a farming context as well. So I think they're a wonderful partner, not only to Nedbank, but to the farmers as well.
John, thank you very much, and thank you for your involvement.
It's a pleasure.
Right.
Thank you.
And once again, our farmers are winners. Thank you for joining us tonight. This was the 2022 Nedbank MPO Stewardship Awards.
Syngenta, bringing plant potential to life.
Goeiedag, wit en geel mieliepryse het die wind redelik van voor gekry verlede week op die termynmark vir lewering in Maart. Wit mieliepryse het met 6.3% gedaal terwyl geel mielie se prys 4.2% af is en nou onder die R5000 per ton verhandel. Die koringprys het week op week met 0.9% gestyg terwyl die sonneblomprys met 0.9% gedaal het en sojabone wat week op week 3.1% duurder geword het vir lewering in Maart. Olieprys bly redelik bestendig, maar week op week met 1.7% op. Die rand het die afgelope ruk baie goed gedoen teenoor die vernaamste geldeenhede, maar die nuus donderdag dat die president moontlik in 'n staat van beskuldiging geplaas kan word, het sterk druk geplaas op die rand en die rand het verswak week op week met 1% teenoor die dollar, 2.6% teenoor die pond en 2.4% teenoor die euro.
Syngenta, bringing plant potential to life.
Ons stel bekend, die nuwe, sterker as ooit tevore, 165 kW Hilux GR Sport.
BKB, die betroubare tuiste van landbou. BKB, die betroubare tuiste van landbou. Elanco, we are driven by our vision of food and companionship, enriching life.